my favorite hosts. And yes, I said some because as you guys know, here in the P2d RAW Network and the Raw DAO, we are always up to something. So I'm gonna let Chai introduce herself, and then I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about one of our new co-hosts here on the Raw Talk. So Chai, tell the people what's up.
What's up, everybody? We back again with the Raw Talk. So glad to see new faces and old faces as well. So we here with it and we ready to get raw with it.
Okay, and y'all know what to do. Drop your own comments in the comment box because we want to see what you guys think about it. And to everybody that's here in the metaverse with us, shout out to Tiny and Leanne. If you guys have anything you want to add, drop it in the chat or just unmute yourself because you guys know that's how we do. And I'm also excited to introduce one of our new co-hosts here on the Raw Talk. Now, if you watch us on Saturdays, usually, then you know Crypto X is usually in here adding in his 2 cents. But we were like, why don't we expand the Raw Talk a little bit and actually make him an official part of the Raw Talk team. So, Crypto X, why don't you tell the people what's up?
Peace and blessings. You could say the long version Crypto X, or you could just say X. And then X is 4, like how Lil Wayne used to be like F is 4, so X could be for whatever pertains to the moment.
And we all about the variables. So let's dive into it because we have got a lot on the itinerary. You guys know here in the Raw Talk, we talk about all of the craziness, the trending topics that are happening all across social media, whether that's in pop culture, blockchain, news, governments, anything. If you want to talk about it, we actually have our own channel in the Raw DAO Discord called Raw Talk under the P2d RAW Network, and there our community members share different links from Instagram and Twitter threads or Facebook or articles, wherever they're getting their content from, and we bring it here and we dive right in. So Chai, what do we have on the itinerary today?
Okay, so let me go ahead and pull that up really quickly. It's juicy today, guys. Okay, so our topics for today are going to be human trafficking and Falcon NFL player Eric Dwayne Johnson. Then we have Chris Brown and Black women. Seems to be a revolving topic. Verified human. We have Dr. Green cured cancer. Definitely want to talk about that one. Neil Armstrong was offered $5K. Drake is retiring from the rap game. Selena Gomez is the most followed on Instagram. Why that is, I'm very curious myself. And Chat GPT payout is $1K. Let's get into it.
Ooh, I'm excited because all of these topics, I know when we be seeing the topics, we all be thinking like, all right, we gonna really get raw with it. And you guys know that's what we're all about. So let's get into that first topic. Would you say the first thing we'll be talking about is today?
So we have human trafficking and Falcon NF player Eric Dwayne.
Okay, and I know we've got that here. So let me go ahead and bring that up in our Discord so you all can see what we've actually been talking about here. So let's see. That first one.
So he played back in the day, like when we was kids.
And so why don't you tell us a little bit about what this is? Because I do have it pulled up where it shows the mug shots and it says former NFL player among 8 other people arrested on gang and human trafficking allegations.
Yeah, so in Gwynn County, Georgia, 8 suspected gang members are charged with trafficking 4 women and 1 girl. Among the 8 suspects is a former Falcons NFL player, Eric Dwayne Johnson. According to Fox 5 News, Attorney General Chris Carr said the 8 individuals face accusations of trafficking of persons for sexual servitude, violation of the Rust Gang Terrorism Prevention Act, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, aggravated assault, and kidnapping. The AG's office claims the Loot Gang colluded to recruit and traffic people to sustain themselves Members would buy firearms and other property with the money. And they go on to say Johnson played for the NFL, Atlanta Falcons in 2004, and spent 3 seasons with Oakland Raiders in 2000 to 2003.
Dang, at first I thought he was a current NFL player. So I'm like, dang, why do these NFL
Yeah,
players
I thought he was a current one too.
But
and then when I seen he was like 03, I was just like,
that money drying up, huh? Like that money drying up. So you resorting to that old pimping hustle, which is crazy because it's really weird whenever people talk about human trafficking, because I think visually what we think about is again that kidnapping and like women being held against their will, but in today's modern society, it's really crazy because when you actually dig into like, or lift that veil, I want to say, you really see what it is. I was surprised to see that it was more willingness and more females that kind of get themselves in these situations where it's like more so they know he got connections, people with money, she's okay with doing whatever for money, and then they start out with an agreement until maybe she's uncomfortable and don't want to do things, and now you start putting yourself in predicaments. And that's what I see this as, when you put it that way, okay, maybe he's not playing football, but just like, we was talking about Lou here and how X and him used to play, and it's just like a connection, right, where you got people that's looking for stuff, and that's what that always kind of ends up being like to me, when you kind of unroll the whole story in that. So I would say that is just kind of my raw look at it, just from the outside in. What about you guys? X, did you want to kick it off or try? Okay.
I would say that when I first heard about like human trafficking, like you hear it, like you hear about it, but unless you like do your research and actually dive into like how different things go on within that realm, you start to realize like this could be in your own back door. Mm-hmm. And it's very serious, especially like within Vegas, I would say. It's a lot of human trafficking that goes on there. You hear about it with like students and stuff like that, and it's very serious where you have like someone from like back in the day now being like recognized again, but not for something that's like that's really good. And like you said, that money's starting to drive out, because it was like, I'm thinking 2019 or something like that before the pandemic, but you're back in the day, and that money ain't tight no more. And if you didn't have like accolades to set up for the future, something like where Shaq has built up like his own empire and stuff along the way with funding from like the NBA and what he was making, then you won't have like you'll have a situation where are they now type. So that's just my take on it. And like human trafficking,
I remember the first day I came to Vegas, that was the first thing somebody walked up to us and said like, hey, you better hold your joint close, because they would kidnap you on this street and she would be gone. And I'm like, whoa, is you trying to kidnap me right now? Like, what's happening right now?
Whoa, are you trying to kidnap me right now? That's crazy.
It was crazy, man. Crazy. X, I would love to hear your perspective, especially because you probably even know who this football player is, and I know you always have like a profound look at things, so that's why I'm also excited to actually have you up here giving your raw talk about these crazy topics that's happening out here. So let us know what you got going on.
I think human trafficking is like a man-made business, and when I say that, it's like, I think if it was considered like if what they were selling, whatever was legal, like alcohol or some places marijuana, I think that would actually lead to a reduction in a lot of like the illegal ways to go. Like for instance, with marijuana, illegal grows or horrible because it's like you don't know what they're putting in the marijuana. And trust me, even legal grows can be bad, but it's like illegal grows really go through it. Like they probably got mold in it, just all type of stuff, like just backdoor activity. And it seems like with human trafficking, like you said, it's like literally the first hustle known to man. And it's like, I think it's gets the light it gets or how bad it is because it's illegal. So then once it's illegal, it's like, oh, anything goes type of thing. So you got people selling their kids, kidnapping other people's kids, just like, and that's on an extreme end. And it's just, I think there's time, like they over here trying to like decide what to do with shrooms and all these other things and addressing all these other issues. I think there's something like eventually should come to a head this generation where it's like, nah, we get some clear rules, outlines. Like you guys were saying, here in Nevada, prostitution is illegal in Las Vegas, but then it's legal outside of Las Vegas and the rest of the state. And it's like, I think that's pretty conflicting. Like I don't want to go too far off topic, but I believe at the legal broth out here in the past week, the lady shot somebody. So I don't know what happened there, but I just think if there were clear guidelines, maybe we could kind of like ease as much of the issues that are going on with it.
Yeah, that's a good point on talking about, things being illegal and that being what makes it even so much more valuable, right? So that's definitely an interesting topic. And I know, like we said, this isn't a new conversation. It's definitely something that we see in the news often. I think one of the first times it really became like surprising to me is like when Ashton Kutcher decided to like leave TV and like just like go after human traffickers. And that's when I kind of realized like, oh wait, all these people in Hollywood are real like CIA agents. I'm not gonna go down this whole rabbit hole, but like, really like investigating and like there's a whole thing going on behind the scenes again that we don't even realize. And so it's just really interesting when you see these rings and you see these connections and you see these people and what they're doing behind the scenes. So y'all better watch out because we're going to bring it on the Raw Talk and we're going to talk about it. So I know we've got a few people here. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to add about that topic before we move along to the next? Nope. Okay, great. I don't see anything in the chat.
Yeah, I'd say one more thing where it's like just to offer just another maybe comment point where it's just like, dang, I lost my train of thought. But it's like with the OnlyFans, right? OnlyFans, it's like when you watch a movie or listen to songs, whatever, as a kid, they promote marijuana a lot, right? So then at that time it was illegal and then people were getting into it, kids would be selling drugs at a young age, all these different funny things. And it's like that same thing you can argue with the sex industry where it's like they promote OnlyFans females all day long. They promote like just all type of things all day long, and it's like that's how they even create an audience for something like that. Like what's the little girl that just Bad Baby or something like that, Barbie, whatever, whichever one it is. And it's like as soon as she turned 18, she made however many million. And then that first year, I think she made like 50 million or whatever the case. And it's like, she just spent 5 years building up a fan base of all teenage girls. And it was like, the most constructive thing she did to like maintain wealth was, turn 18 and start her OnlyFans. And then it just like change cycles. Like, I don't really know no youngins, but I just would assume that she has a heavy influence. And it's just, sad to say.
It is. They think that's all they gotta do. That's exactly why that first point I was made, which is the sad thing is that it starts out as this willingness, right? Because like you said, these young females it's like when we say, let's talk about that systematic stuff that we've just been taught for years. Like, they've been fed like, oh, you want to put yourself out there so that some man will give you money and you do whatever he want and you get that money. And it's like, that's not it, shorty. We got a lot of other ways that we can get that bread. And, that's why we come and have these raw talks to remind people like, hey, those actions got consequences. And the sad thing is, especially for young females, because I've been one of them, and I'm still a younger female, you don't even realize that sometimes until years later, and then you just look back and
Thank you.
some aren't even lucky enough to get to that point. So yeah, definitely some really good stuff there. Chai, what was the next thing on our itinerary?
Okay, so the next thing that we have is Chris Brown and black women.
Let me
It's
see.
been like a Shiva put this topic she put this topic in play, and it's actually a link here.
Okay, yep, I got it pulled up
where the
now.
book-
This is from the Shade Room. Now we are streaming live on YouTube and all these other platforms, and I know the Shade Room would try to strike me if I played a little video. So as you guys know, if you want to actually click into these links and see more, read the comments, watch the videos, you gotta join our Discord, and it's all there in the Raw Talk. But I do have it up here from when he's in the club, and it says Chris Brown responds to allegations that black women aren't allowed in his VIP section of the club. So Chai, did you want to let us know what that was all about, or your raw thought about it? Like what? I don't know. I think people just be gassing. I think my real quick thought is I think people just like messing with Chris Brown. Like they know he's gonna be mad when you say something like that, and then he's gonna be like, "Dang."
Yeah, but at the same time, like with it's it's kind of like going back to what Blueface was saying, like just acknowledging like if that's who you are, then just be that. But in some instances, you'll have stories where some black women come out and say Chris Brown did this, and then some women will come out and say Chris Brown didn't do that, and it's like it's all based off like who can get the most clout from this situation, and then how it's gonna affect Chris Brown, and then like work in their favor. So it's just like, yeah, we have a situation where and this is just an example, so like I'm paraphrasing. If Chris Brown threw a drink on somebody, they'd be like, "Oh my God, Chris Brown threw a drink. He's aggressive, blah blah blah." Whole time, Shorty could have did something that was disrespectful. That he can like, "Oh, I can sue you for that because now you assaulted me," but it will be blasted because what that brings in data, that brings in eyes, that brings in like more people that are like, oh, like what did Chris Brown do now? So now it's like he's a topic of discussion, and people are like listening to his music, or people are hating. So it's just like now what's so important. Again, if you look back, it's like, okay, data. I'm collecting data, like what's gonna be hot, what's trending, and then how people can build off top of that. So I just say, like, if you like the man's music, like his music. If you like him as a person, that's great too. But like, don't invest into too much with like celebrities and stuff like that. Like, it's a waste of time.
And that's raw. X, did you have anything you wanted to add on that?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with both of y'all. I would just add maybe like a couple pennies where it's like, I just think it's all album promotion, or maybe he's getting ready to go on world tour because I think this incident occurred in London, so it's like, yeah, it was talked about here in America, but it's like, oh, the fact that it happened in Europe, it probably was even bigger news over there. And then it came out like what the guy was lying anyway because the video showed he had black females around him, so it was like. I just think he's getting ready. Like, it's funny because it's the new tactics to promote. Like, when we were younger and you go to the grocery stores, they had tabloids or whatever the case may be. And it was like, that's how they kept a lot of celebrities. That's how the Kardashians kind of came up, where it was just like, you go to check out food and it's like, oh, an article or a magazine cover, like, oh, Tiger Woods did this or so-and-so did that.
Right.
Not like, Tiger Woods.
Yeah. But it's like, it's just at this being Tiger's wild. At this point, it's more like Instagram or social media or TMZ in particular definitely is like the evolution of tabloids, where it's like, I don't really take everything they say as crystal clear because they're just trying to like generate buzz. Excuse me.
Yeah, and that's crazy because that's exactly what the last point I was going to say was. Just like Chai said, we was talking about Chris Brown last week too, because him and Blueface was on here, and he had just said, like, oh, y'all still mad because he just came out with a song with Haley, and I mean, I still ain't even heard the song. I ain't heard nobody talk about the song.
I have not
still.
heard the song.
I was like, you know, like X said, it's still like, oh, they gotta figure out something to get people to go listen to the song, or there isn't going to be a no tour, because then who's going to go to the tour? But if you get enough controversy brewing, enough eyes looking, like you said, Chai, people eventually choose up. I know I seen some of his playbacks, and I think that's also where they got people, where they were showing, you know, him singing some of his old songs, like, oh, Take You Down, to join On the Chair, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Chris Brown that I remember. I'm like, oh, I already know the dance, like, I'm waiting for the move and everything, you know, and I'm like, so I think we're going to definitely keep seeing the gimmicks and some more that they have in store for sure. For sure. And so I know we got a few more topics on the list. Tiny, I'll be on the lookout for any of your comments. But if you want to add any of your Raw talks, feel free to unmute as well. Otherwise, Chai, what is next up on the itinerary?
All right, so we have next verified human.
Ooh, let's see.
And that is a tab that you put up is for Twitter. And you have Mark Zuckerberg with a check in his eye.
So Mark Zuckerberg put out this message that said, "Good morning, and new product announcement. This week we're starting to roll out Meta Verified, a subscription service that lets you verify your account with a government ID, get a badge, get extra impersonation protection against accounts claiming to be you, and get direct access to customer support. This is a new feature about increasing authenticity and security across our services. Meta Verify starts at $11.99 on web or $14.99 on iOS. We'll be rolling it out in Australia and New Zealand this week and more countries to come." That's wow.
So if you don't have this blue check, that means you're a fraud?
That's how they gonna say it to make everybody feel bad, right? I said, X, you got your captions in Spanish. I seen you said "sí."
That's good.
Yeah, I see it as, you know, all three of us here are well aware of Agenda 2030 and everything, and, it's just chugging along. The train is going. The sheep are being herded just like they said they would be, and the crazy part about the sheep herding is that they said the sheep wouldn't know. And it's like, that's how they get it. Like, people's love for attention or clout or, you know what I'm saying, the combination of both is going to get them locked up. Like, people are down for all these things. Like, if they would have told you at the DMV, you might have been opposed, like, oh, the state's violating my rights and all that. But it's like, oh, if you sneak it in through social media, everybody's with it, So we'll see how it ends up. But we know where it's stepping towards, which is definitely like your social credit, which a lot of people, it's going to be a laugh now, cry later thing, because when they realize, like, man, some posts, and they already showed you the example, like Kevin Hart and so many celebrities where tweets come back to bite them in the butt, or Instagram posts come back to bite them in the butt, and it's like, nah, it's about to start biting your everyday person that thinking they won't be verified as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wrong.
And I was seeing one of the comments that people were making where it was like, we have these AR glasses that are coming out, and a lot more that, like, again, when you talk about like the big vision on like why they would even want to do that, because we already know Twitter already started that. Now it's over to Facebook, so this movement is expanding. Like you said, we already know, the global ID and a lot more that comes down the line with everything that we're talking about. But when you bring it all together, like, okay, no, you also got your AR or your glasses on. Because when I was reading the Twitter thread, that was one of the main concerns that I see that had got a lot of good pushback, when the guy was like, it would be kind of cool if you walk into a party and then you see somebody and maybe you forgot their name or forgot where you knew them from, but you see their name and you see where they from. You're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. But then also it takes away that even getting to know people if you don't know them, right? Or you walk into a place and now everybody just knows you already before you even get to decide who you want to know you, right? And so again, that's where you get this double-edged sword on. Yes, it can be helpful, but also it is a lot that you're going to be giving in order to get that little bit of whatever that you're trying to attain, that you can attain just by asking, right? Or learning and getting to know people. So very interesting. I see we've got some more people hopping in here. Welcome AK, Jennifer, George. We are currently having our Raw Talk, which is being streamed across social media. We talk about this week's trending topics. So everybody watching, also make sure you drop your thoughts in the comments. You can also add your Raw Talk in the chat and we'll share it, or just unmute yourself and keep it going. So right now we're talking about, Facebook and their new verified check. And like I just said, we've seen it on Twitter. And I think that is where we kind of seen, again, that double-edged sword, where there's some people that's like, oh, I got to get a blue check because only real accounts want to have the blue check. And if you take Twitter serious, then you have the blue check. But then you have the other people that are like, boy, you pay $8 a month for that blue check. Like, I take you serious. And it's going to be really interesting to watch how our society grows through this and adopts it. And that's the part that data and analytics can guesstimate but doesn't always get right. And so again, it's to be definitely interesting to see how that plays out.
And that's kind of crazy that you just said that, because I was thinking about like even in the job market, where now it's just like it's going to be like digital resumes, where it's just like, oh, if you don't have that verified check of like, oh, paying a subscription of blah, blah, blase, it's just like, oh, no, you're not legit, or, oh, no, you didn't really get this degree, and now you have to go through all these hoops because, like, you didn't pay for a subscription saying that you were verified. And that's pretty effed up, because if it's just like, I'm just trying to get a job, and now I have to go through all these hoops just to say I am who I am, it's gonna be tough.
And it's crazy that you mentioned that, because we actually just had a panel with Dolphin Argdale on Friday, and I showed them AI making a resume. So you can use AI, because it was like AI in action. So I'm like, yeah, you can use AI to make your resume now, where you still have, it was still that point where you have to fill in your name and fill in where you went to school and fill in your job, but then you can hit the AI button and it'll write the bullets, because we put in the job description for the job you're trying to get. But like you said, imagine though if all your stuff is connected. So no, now all you got to do is click, oh, this is who I am. AI can fill out that job. AI could hire you right then or not, once we really get into this autonomous society. And again, that can be kind of scary, right? Because that's ran by algorithms, and we all black at this table. I think we all knew, hey, you put in I remember when Tiffany Haddish said she always checked the white box when she applied for jobs and pop up like, no, you're going to have to talk to me before you just put my application in the trash. And so, but we ain't gonna have that. You're gonna have to just
funny as hell,
And it's serious though, because even Adelia, again, the one that we had it with, she was saying how she was doing something similar where, again, AI would grade you, and as soon as she she was a woman, she would start losing points. And again, it's going to be very interesting when we have these social credit scores and ways that we're being judged and accounted for, and it's going to stop you, like you said, Chai, from being able to do certain things. And that's what people don't take serious. But it's serious. So you better watch what you're putting out here. More of the story.
Man, for real.
And so
That's funny.
did anybody else have anything that they wanted to add about these verified check marks on social media? Where you think that's going? How you think society will take that or not take it?
I got 2 points to add to what you guys were saying. Like, one, man, as soon as they stopped taking applications in person, like way back when, the algorithm's been deciding who's gonna get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, your resume gonna hit HR unless the algorithm, gets it through. You're gonna get spammed out. And then 2, you just gotta take it as all this reason why they rolled the AI first, or they've been introduced us to all these bots first or prior, because it's like now it takes it a step further. Like I was saying, when you turn in your resume, and what Mo was saying, a combination where it's like you can get AI to write your resume right now. So how would they debunk that? The only way to debunk that, or from knowing that it's a bot applying for a job, is say, hey, if you know how to program enough bots to apply for like a call center job online virtually or whatever the case is, and AI can handle most of it, especially if it's one of those tech type of jobs, you could probably have like 3-4 jobs running at the same time. So it's like, how would they counter that? Well, I would think they counter that with all this social verification and all these things. And that goes back to something a great person, a crypto teacher, would always say, where it's just like cause the problem and then run in with the solution. So right now, we're in that stage of the problem hasn't reared its head yet, but I bet a lot that will be the problem that steers the whole, like, no, everybody needs verification. And then actually it's thirdly, because I think people that decide not to get verified, or as long as they're still on the platform, those pages are going to end up being worth more than the ones that are verified. You get what I'm saying? But I think that's going to play itself out. It's just like when, how trends go, when fads go, like once everybody's verified or most people are verified, then it's going to be like, I won't be unverified. It's like, no, you can't be. You're already into the system. Then people are going to be trying to pay for unverified accounts, because then say when the website's like, oh, you got to sign up now, it's like, oh, you only can sign up in a verified way. Like, there's no more. So like all of us that still got these old accounts that aren't verified, it'd be like, a rare gem.
That's wrong. And that's a great point. Like you said, the unverified and those people that really is holding out, that is going to be the holy grail, I think, in the end as well. So that was a really good point. And like we said, a lot of food for thought. A lot of people, just do things because they're the trends, and again, aren't thinking about what they're really giving up or what they're doing in the moment. And you have to be mindful, because they're banking on us not being mindful in order to make a lot of things happen. And it's like, instead you can be a part of building, so that we get why, right? Because I mean, people can come in and be whoever and then cause havoc. So it's I see it, cool, maybe what you're trying to do, but there's better ways to do things, right? Where we don't necessarily have to give up everything to be able to make that happen. And it's us being a part of that actually be able to even make that happen. So, man, good points, though, you guys. I haven't seen anybody drop any other comments about that in the chat, but like I said, everybody that's here, thanks for being here. Make sure you do drop it in the chat. Chai, what was next on our itinerary for today?
Okay, so we have Dr. Heidi Nicole Green cured cancer with laser technology.
Oh, let me see. And I heard about this. Somebody else was telling me about this, and I was like, what? Oh, Adelia, because her grandfather had it, and she's seen this with her own eyes happening. But I do have this pulled up for everybody watching. So it says, Dr. Hadia Nicole Green, HBCU grad, member of Delta Sigma Theta, first person to cure cancer with laser technology. So, interesting stuff, because my main point is they know how to cure cancer. Dr. Sebi done went to the court and showed people they know how to cure cancer. they've been at this for so many years. They know how to cure cancer, but they make more money just treating it, and that being what it is. And so when I start to see like, oh, now it's a cure and now it's a thing, again, it just makes me think, okay, like, again, what is the bigger play here at hand? Because you're not going to just now take away your $1 billion industry. So what are you again about to gain by taking that away? And that's my raw thought about that one. Happy they can cure it though, because I know that, you know, that's something that's scary, and it saddens me to see our people, you know, dying of things that, you know, are, I don't want to say preventative, but it's like, you know, we consume foods and things that give this to us, and then again, like X was saying, that problem solution. So, you know, and that's what makes me mad about these bigger plays at hand that really kill real people, you know, and that really destroys real families and real children with their parents and their grandparents going through that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm happy that they finally let a treatment out the bottle. I've always been one to say I wish they would have just done that many, many years ago, because I've always believed in my hearts of hearts that that was possible. And so I'm interested to see how that continues to play out. What y'all think?
Okay, so I'll say two things. So I'll start out with my first one, where it's talking about the comments. So I don't know if you guys scan the comments, but I'm going to talk about that. And then the second part is, I'll get to the second part. But the comments were stating, like, protect her at all costs. That's great. They were like high-fiving her. Some people were saying that they were donating, but it's kind of like, yeah, we already knew like cancer could be cured, but like you said, what are people going to now do with this $1 billion industry? And that goes into my second point, where it's just like what X was stating earlier with like the crypto teacher, where it's just like his videos will say like, hey, look, this is the problem, this is what's being created, and then boom, running with the solution. So now that they have that and people now know like cancer can be cured, now it's just like, what other things are they now implementing for this fourth industrial revolution of, okay, now this new thing that we're bringing to the front, saying like, oh, this is better, plant-based or whatever, can that now be curable for whatever problems that may now cause down the road for our next generation and for the next generation after that. So it's just like, yeah, protect her at all costs, because we already knew that this could be cured. And, you know, God forbid is something weird, we already knew this was going to happen. And then also too, what are they now bringing along to where it can't be cured, so they can already secure their fortune of that $1 billion industry? Because, you know, okay, that's my point.
And that's a good point, man. Even that first one that you said, when you said protect her at all costs, that's like and it's crazy, because that's like something that always has to be on your mind as soon as you think about jumping out there in this world. Like, oh, somebody's not going to want me to jump out there in this world. So again, when you see them jumped out there, you know it's because people want you to see that, and they're cool with you seeing that. And because we seen the last guy that was like, oh, you can go and you know, use water to, I think, what was he using water to as gas in the cars or as energy? Mm-hmm. And now then there was a mass shooting at the grocery store he was in, and now the guy that just, you know, is going to jail for that. You know, it's again that whole like, oh, no, we not ready for that one yet, buddy. Like, we got these electric cars, we want people running on energy, not water, you know. And so when we see again the solutions that are being promoted, we have to ask why and how, and what's that going to come with, and watch them play out. Lex, did you want to add something to that?
Oh, not so much. I'm in agreement with both of y'all, where it's like, it's a business. Like, obviously, if they're at the point now where they're trying to promote like, oh, cancer being year, then we're just on to the next phase, and we'll see. And then crazy because we're the living for the next phase, where it's like a lot of things that we've done in our generation, like whether it be eating blue 11 or red, yellow, all these different things, is just getting ready to turn into like a commercial. Like, oh, if you ate this 20 years ago, go see your doctor, or go see your. I think we get to a funny state. Like,
whole time they doing like hula hoops in the commercial, or it's something weird going on in the background while they're telling you all these like symptoms of what you've eaten. And you're like, what? It's weird.
Yeah, that is very weird, but we definitely gonna see that play out. I know we've got a few people in the house. Welcome. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to add about what they think?
There's a comment in the chat.
Oh, there's a comment in the chat? Let me see. Okay. Oh, I do see Jennifer said treating autoimmune disorders might be a way they make money next. Great point, right? We hear about new diseases, and like you said, that autoimmune disease, we know, when one door is closing, it's just because the next is opening. So I love that comment. That's definitely something that we're going to be looking out, because we done seen a lot of people do a lot of different things that don't know the long and short term effects of stuff. So again, we're going to start to see, if they okay with not having to worry about curing cancer, it's because they already know they've got other stuff that they can kind of divert that energy to. So great comment there. Welcome everyone. So Chai, what was next on our itinerary there?
Okay, so what was next is Neil Armstrong was offered $5,000 if he swore on the Bible he really went to the moon. The $5,000 would have went to charity. He refused. So
this
this no,
video, this video is really funny. Like I said, I cannot play it right now because it is streaming. But if you guys have to go watch it on Instagram, because he was really like dodging it, and this guy is like, put your hand on the Bible. And he's like, it's not a real Bible. And he's like, it is a real Bible.
He said it's not a real Bible. That's funny.
What was that, X?
I think my mic. I was gonna say, can you pull up a picture of like the first, or like whatever the thing was called? He went to space allegedly, right? And have you actually seen what he was supposed to be in space with, like the rover or whatever the case was, like the vehicle he had? It's like a beach chair, aluminum foil. Like, but really look up that right now. Like,
I'm pulling it up. I got it pulled up here.
And then tell me if you think he was using that in space. I don't know. I don't know.
The thing that gets me is like, it's like the background is just too black. Like, that's just too black. Like, it's not that. I mean, like, maybe space is pitch black. I can't call it. But that's just like, no. They got him floating in the air. Like, now that we done got good at Photoshop, I think we can all see, like, no, bruh. This is not it. And so it was just cracking me up, because I've always been one of those people like, that man did not go to the moon. And people be like, what? Like, that's a crazy thing to say. And it's like, really, I think you're crazy.
Now, look at the lunar rover. It's called the lunar rover.
The lunar rover? Okay, let me see.
The lunar rover. And you think he took a beach chair with some wheels up there? Or not?
Oh, I do see it right here. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sold. I'm not sure. So what about y'all here in the chat? Okay, y'all here with me trying X saying, do y'all think they really took this thing right here and was on the moon, or are we tripping? Y'all think they really made it to outer space? Tiny's in agreement. She said it's not a real Bible. She's cracking up with us. Let us know in the comments. Let us know here in the chat, or anybody that's watching. Because we want to know, and I'm really again happy that these are those kind of conversations that's coming. But again, why are they now happening? Right? We see. I just was talking about this because they were talking about, there's some people that's like super diehard, like, oh, we're going to Mars and we're going all these places, and it's like we don't even want to go down that rabbit hole with what's really about to happen or where those people really going, or all these different things. And I know my husband is actually one of the ones that put me on, like, nah, that's gonna play out just like the Titanic. All those billionaires gonna pay their ticket and we ain't never gonna see them again, and those that's still here is gonna run it. Just like, history don't repeat itself. People do. They run that play with the Titanic, they ran that play with 9/11, they ran that play many, many times, so I'm not sold though.
I'm really looking at it like, my thing is like, how did y'all fit that all on there?
That lunar rover can't even go up and down California Hill, let alone ride on the moon, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it just don't make no sense. Like, if you did, like, why not just say you did it? If you did go to the moon, like, why would you be so opposed to being like, yeah, I went to the moon, like, that's my thing? And so, but it's all like we always say, it's all for clout. Because I mean, he's been saying it for years thus far. So at the end of the day, I think again it's more of a bigger plot to maybe start to discredit others. Because there's also people that are anti-Elon that like myself, who I'm not anti-Elon, but I'm anti-thinking people are going to make it outer space. I'm just not sold on that belief there. But there are some people again that are like, would love to really make sure that doesn't happen, so are willing to discredit the entire system thus far to really make it seem absurd now, right? Like that wasn't something that we had been sold on for all these years. So I think we're at a few different wars in society, and it always just comes to show itself, right? With the different agendas that come into fruition that either push people in one way or in the other way, because they understand that that's all you got to do is push the masses enough to be for you or against you, and then you can kind of get away with whatever at that point. And that's a sad thing. So really good stuff. Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to add about that? If you think he's going to the moon or not? I know we've got a few people in the house. If not, no worries. We'll keep it rolling. Chai, what was next thing on our itinerary here?
Okay, so I did see that Drake did an interview with Lil Yachty where he was talking about how he's looking to or planning to retire from the rap game. I like wish you could pull it up, but yeah, Drake states in an interview alongside Lil Yachty that he's at the point of thinking about a graceful exit from the rap game. Do you think the rap GOAT is serious, or is he building hype for his future music?
I think he is getting old. I mean, he was in Degrassi. He's a rapper now.
He's built a solid album. He's built a solid catalog.
He did. And I think the cool thing about him is he has a unique voice. He has a great writing team. He has a great media team. He got a lot of people behind him. So I think whatever he drops is always going to be, cool. But I also know he got a kid, right? And his kid is getting older. And he's probably thinking about, like, the next stage in his life, because he's been doing this for a while now. And so I believe it when he says, he's ready to retire. I can't imagine being somebody's, I don't want to say puppet, but like, I don't like being in the spotlight. And, I wouldn't want to always have to be that person in the spotlight. Like you said, he put in that work. He did great. It's like a football player, right? You a Hall of Famer and everything, right? You done set the bar high, and now you could go out strong and on to the next thing.
I agree 100%.
So but you don't think he's really retiring? You think he got an album? I don't know. People wasn't feeling the last joint when he was trying to do the Afro beats. I think he's learning, like, he can't keep up with the youngsters.
I don't know with him. It's just like you don't know. He's like a Scorpio, and but also too like you said, he has a team and stuff like that. So he has like advisors and stuff, people that counsel him. But uh, you just never know. It's just like with a Scorpio, I may feel like doing it, and then I may want to do something else, and I think something else may be cool. So it's just like you never know. But if he does decide to exit gracefully, I mean, at least do one more concert for my sake, and I'll go. I'll go, and I will get the merch and everything. Like I will go get the tickets. I will go by myself, for real, for real. Um, and that'll be it. Like I'll be cool. And you hear him throughout the years on a couple features, blase blase. But um, yeah, he's done enough for rap. Now it's
Okay.
just like you can go off and do other things
Yeah,
and
that.
do other projects, and that's the whole point of business, right?
Exactly. Grow and expand. That's been the motto. And I know you go over here like Scorpio gang. I'm like, dang, you Scorpio, he's Scorpio, this Scorpio. So Mr. Scorpio X, what do you think? Is Drake retiring or he's playing Scorpio games?
Scorpio
I
gang.
don't got him retiring. I think it's well. I mean, we old now, but I remember when Jay Z dropped the Black album, and it was the same thing. It was Jay Z in his mid 30s, approaching 40, and it was like that was just marketing. Like after the Black album, Jay Z had dropped like what 5 albums since then, probably like another 6 world tours since then, and still drop records here and there. So I think Drake's just signaling he's getting into his next stage or the latter part of his career. But I know he's not done because what he signed like a $300-400 million contract last year, I believe, and obviously they ain't give him that for 2 albums. They gave him that because he about to keep dropping albums. It's just marketing and promotion as usual.
Dang, sounds like the Scorpio gang for me.
The Scorpio games for real. That's what y'all can call it. Like, nah, he's not. I'm like, yeah, he is. He's old. He's happy. He's on to the next. You're like, nah. We know this. We know this play right here. You just gotta make him miss you
Oh, Jennifer,
or something. I don't know what y'all be up to something though.
that's funny. That's crazy.
Good stuff. Drop it in the comments. Y'all think Drake is really retiring? See, Jennifer M said Nas is still making albums, and I think Drake has enough loyal fans to keep making music. Okay, so Jennifer think he making music still too. I think so too. I think so too.
I agree with Jennifer 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
I could actually see him being in a movie though, like
Ooh.
recent.
For sure.
That's
For
how
sure.
he came in. Like he was actually a unicorn in that sense because most people go from like, oh, I'm rapping to get some, and then starting to transition into acting. But he came in an actor that transitioned into music, so it's like it only would make sense because, for instance, if he goes on a world tour and all those cities, all those nights, he probably brings home $100 million, let's say, right, or something close in that ballpark. But it's like with his celebrity that it is now, while it's still he's the #1 rapper, if you was to hear Drake's in a feature Hollywood film, he could make that same 100 million just being in that one movie, and that one movie could lead him into 2 movies in the next year. Where it's like now he made 200 million off of movies compared to traveling the world and because all the headache that comes with the music releasing.
That's a busy man.
Good point though, because that's that next level, right? When we talk about that, what do you do next? Is definitely that movie crossover, especially because that's where you get those big checks and that next level notoriety. Because although we're saying he has a lot of loyal fans, there's also some people that probably don't listen to his music because they don't listen to rap, and so being able to get into a movie. Now, like I said, I watched him on Degrassi, so I think he can again tap back into that larger audience if he does. So definitely will be interesting to see what Drake has up his sleeve, because obviously we know he got something up there, right? At this point, I think we all in agreement at that nonetheless. Um. Oh, and I see you said
I
Tiana
agree with
Taylor's.
Jennifer 100%.
Oh, with her
I'm
Tiana
sorry,
Taylor's.
Rocco.
She said Tiana's Taylor new movie looks good. I didn't even know Tiana Taylor was in a new movie. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Yeah,
What movie
that
is
John
that?
was good. Let me see. You should definitely
Let me see. Cause I love me some Tiana Taylor, and I always be mad that she doesn't get the recognition that she deserves in music. Cause I loved her album, I love
Yeah,
her
that's what I
work.
do agree. I do agree with that. Let me see, what is it called? 1001. I think it's called 1001.
1001.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're gonna have to look into that for sure. Maybe have a little viewing party. We all about a good watching party here, especially because we got some cool little drive-ins and fun stuff, and you guys all the good stuff. So cool. I see Jennifer says she just seen the ad for it. So yeah, Jennifer, make sure you like the space so you know when we around here, because we always doing all kind of things like this. Happy to have you a part. But yeah, we're gonna have to check that out because again, these are multi-talented people, and I'm all for expanding and really growing that talent. And so I'm excited. I hope he does kind of go into some movie or something else. So Chai, what was next up on our itinerary?
Okay, so next we have Selena Gomez is the most followed on IG. I should have said followed woman on IG, but the most followed woman on IG. They've been announcing it. And I thought it was just interesting to see.
Okay, let me see, because I had some hot stuff about that. As soon as you said that, let me see. I got it pulled up right here. First of all, Selena got beef with Kylie. I'm gonna just say that right now. If nobody's seen passive aggressive beef, this is what that looks like. Because so I seen this start like 2 weeks ago, because it was like this big news that like Kylie had fired her bodyguard because people was saying that her bodyguard looked like Stormy's father, because like he was Asian, and they kind of have like squinted eyes, and so they were making this like weird joke that that was the dad. So she fired him, and then Selena hired him, and now 2 weeks later it's like, oh yeah, Selena Gomez is the most followed person, surpassing Kylie Jenner. I'm like, dang, why they keep putting these two joints against each other? Especially because the Jenners and the Kardashians, they take the social media serious, and so when I see stuff like this, it makes me think like, somebody really wants Selena to be like, she's out here doing her thing, and Kylie out here lacking. In my personal raw opinion. What do y'all think about that? Or Selena Gomez
I
even
didn't
being
even
the
know
most
they're
followed person
beefing.
on Instagram. Where I remember Selena Gomez from Wizards on Waverly Place. I don't know if y'all remember that show back on Disney. I never listened to her
Yes.
music. When that show ended, I thought that was the end of it. But she kept rocking. So for her to now be like the most followed though, I'm like wait, hold up. I didn't
And
know.
I'm not knocking her, congrats. Yeah, right, that part. I just didn't know. And her surpassing Kylie is kind of like surprising. But I didn't, I seen that little blurb about like the bodyguard and
And you didn't even
Stormy,
think
but
nothing
it's just
of it,
like,
right? You was like, oh, interesting. And then weeks later, it's like, wait a second. What's going on
now you
here?
fire me? And it's just like, okay, well, that was kind of like a blessing in disguise because like she she could have been Selena could have been paying him double what Kylie was doing. So it was just kind of like, okay, cool. Like I moved from that negative situation, and now I got a better situation. And then just cut your losses and keep going. Like he all right, he got a job. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like knowing when people are like stirring up shit and like pay it no mind. But I guess it's like image and you got shit to protect and you want to be seen in a certain way by your audience, and it's just like, well, hey, then you made a choice. But very surprised. Go ahead, Selena girl. I'm still a fan of Waverly Place.
Me too. That's why I'm like, okay, I still love Selena. I'm like, okay,
did you see the movie?
Girl, you know I ain't seen all of it.
I know you seen the movie.
Okay, I'm like, don't play with me. That was everything. That's why I'm like, that's still my girl. I'm glad she like, you know, getting back in her lane and people that's what I'm saying. Like, I love when people get that recognition. Like, okay, the cool people that's really been cool out here, and ain't, you know, been doing too much, get that like win in the end. Like, yeah, and I'm the coolest at that. Like, okay.
I would say the only thing that I don't get down about her about is that apparently the girl that actually donated the kidney to her, homegirl didn't even recognize her. I guess she was having like a speech or something like that and thanking the people that were in her life. And she didn't even recognize the girl, and I guess the girl was like upset about it. She's on that new show Brownish, and I think she's on another show as well. And she didn't recognize her for it. She was just like, I'm sorry, quote unquote. She was like, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize anyone, Selena stated. And I was just like, damn, if I and then The Weeknd has said a whole song like, I was gonna give you my kidney, girl, and you broke my heart. You see, homegirl gave her kidney, and then she didn't even recognize her. So it's just like, she's the most followed. That's very interesting, but it's whatever people want to do, right? So
it is.
I don't get on that wave of like what everybody be doing, but good luck to you.
Interesting. X, did you have anything you wanted to add about Selena Gomez and her being the most followed on Instagram now, especially over Kylie Jenner?
My best Rick Ross impersonation, I'm gonna just say accusations.
Because, hey, you right, man. They got the bots heavy around here now. They know how to turn you up real quick if you need to.
Oh my gosh.
They really right about that one. It ain't nothing to flip that switch, and now you got a whole extra 100,000. That's a good point right there.
You see, I said I was surprised. I was like,
You feel me?
Interessante.
Okay, so we gonna see. That's why it's one of those things. Something is over there stirring it up, and we gonna be watching with our raw eyes, because y'all know next time they make it in the news, we gonna be right here on Raw Talk talking about it, seeing what's stirring up over here in the space. I think we've got about just one more topic left. I see Jennifer says she had to leave, but I was really happy to be here, so that was awesome. I do also see a few viewers on our social media, so again, thanks everybody for watching. Chai, what is the last topic on today's itinerary?
Okay, so the last topic is going to be Chat GPT payout 100K.
Ooh.
So this is something that you put in the comments, and I was just like, man.
Yes,
you got 100K, and you didn't have to do no lawyers, no nothing.
Yes, so let me read this thread here, because this was really, really interesting. So everybody that's watching, you guys can see this is from Twitter, from Greg Eisenberg. So he says, imagine a multi-billion-dollar client who refused to pay you for your good work rendered. Most people turn to lawyers. I turned to Chat GPT. Here's the story on how I recovered $109,500 without spending a dime on legal fees. So last year we did some design work for a mainstream brand. They loved the work and kept asking for more. We kept on under promising and over delivering, and life was good until communication stopped. Our design agency has completed hundreds of projects with millions in revenue in design and engineering, and had never once had someone completely ghost us on payments. It was killing our team's morale. Our finance and operations team had asked me to step in. Instead of sending another email that might fall to deaf ears or hiring an expensive lawyer to initiate debt collections, I had an idea. What if ChatGPT could draft a bit more of a scary email to draw attention? At the very least, I learned something. The cost of ChatGPT, $0. The cost of our lawyer to send this notice, $1,000. So we asked ChatGPT to pretend to draft a scary collection email so we could recover the $109 and $500 owed to us.
What's up? Hey.
And so, moving on, it says, I'm not going to read his prompt there, but again, you can see how he had said that. And then it was really interesting, though, because here you guys can see on my screen, this is actually the notice from that ChatGPT wrote. And so it was really a letter where it says, Dear XYZ client, we regret to inform you that you need to pay. Otherwise, it's going to continue to escalate. And it was really interesting. Hang on one second, guys. Let me see. Okay, so you already muted him for me. Thank you.
Hear me? I need a tip. Hey.
Easy. Did you want to add something to the conversation?
Yeah. Stop.
Okay, awesome. So then, as I was saying here, for the lawyer, so as you guys can see, that was the actual message that ChatGPT wrote, and as you can see, it is actually in the format of a letter and everything. So literally all you have to do is copy, input your name, and then send it. So he says he changed a few minor things and his heart was racing. 2 minutes later, I got an email from the executive of the company and my heart drops. Let's get you guys paid. Thanks to ChatGPT, we were able to recover the money we were owed, and we couldn't believe how quickly it worked. The best part was ChatGPT felt like the bad cop, and I felt like the good cop. And it gets you thinking, how much of professional services will be automated with AI? How much of companies' current businesses processes can be automated with AI? Is it 5%, 25, 50, or more? And yeah, it's amazing because in the thread here, you can also see one of the lawyers that had mentioned it. He was like, this is also going to make lawyers think about charging $1,000 to send that letter that they already have and is only going to take them but 2 minutes, because now somebody could just ask ChatGPT to do whatever you thought you was doing, and you ain't going to be getting that easy money that was so easy once upon a time. So what do y'all think about that? Everybody quiet now. Everybody was talking when I was talking. Now everybody quiet.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you all.
Yeah, I think it's what lawyers deserve, man. And trust me, I come from a strong family of lawyers and all that goofy shit. But it's like, and I know them firsthand, where it's like I've never met a humble lawyer in my life, and I met countless lawyers. So I think this is just the beginning of a humbling process for them, because they get paid to just quote literature or legal literature. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go in the courtroom and make an argument based on your opinion. You have to state a prior court case that so and so happened. And it's like, well, if AI's whole brain is built with every single court case that's ever happened, well, AI is a better lawyer than a human lawyer. Because a human lawyer that does all the research is a great lawyer, but there's not that many of them. They'll do enough research. Lawyers basically litigate cases off of their relationships, like, oh, this judge owes me a favor, oh, that opposite lawyer owes me a favor, this, that, and the third, and they playing a game of favors with real people's livelihoods, with real people's companies. So it's like, freak them and give the job to the Chat GPT or whatnot, and let's see how smart and intelligent they feel. 'Cause as soon as you meet a lawyer, it's like that's the first thing they gonna introduce themselves as, like, oh, I'm a lawyer, blase blase. Like, no matter what you doing, y'all could be sitting there just going to get some food. And it's like, I'm a lawyer. You gotta do this. I'm a lawyer, and that shit don't even be relevant sometimes. So it's kind of cool. I think it's funny and cool.
I love how you said it's a part of this humbling process, because that's one of these things I always tell people about when it comes to like AI. Like, if the rules is black and white in AI, then that means the lawyers can be, they understand black and white in AI, and the judges. So again, we're going to be moving into this automated process, right? Where you get a ticket, it come right out of your bank account. A lot of this will be able to just do itself. And so for people, again, you have to really find what makes you more relevant than just the fact that you went to college 8 years, passed the bar, and now can do some more work to go find what you want to quote and quote that. And like you said, it's going to take a lot more to actually have a purpose out here and help people. And I also think that it helps, because like they said, they was already struggling trying to, I don't want to say struggling trying to get their money back, because allegedly they was already doing well off. But imagine a brand like you said is up and coming, and they that $1,000 to send this to their buyer is ends meet for their real family, and then we'll put their business out of business if they don't get it back. And now they have an option for free to go and do that now. And I see AI doing that a lot, with logos, with beats, with a lot of things that people were paying a lot of money for before, that you realize you can now do yourself with templates or AI and a little bit of imagination. Chai, what you think about that?
I think they about to go crazy with it. Because that letter, if I would have got that letter, I would be like, okay, let's see what's going on, because this ain't cool. Yeah. And that's how, like, and this is gonna be crazy. Even when you were talking about like the essays, I think a little while ago, when we were talking about how students are gonna now start implementing that, and now how you see how easily where you could just type something and it'll draft it for you. And I was I think one of you guys posted on you guys' story where it talked about no, that's a lie. I'm sorry, let me backtrack. I've seen it on an influencer's content where she talked about like a chat bot, and how it can, if you type in creative content for whatever topic that you're wanting to do content on, and it gave it like ideas. It popped up a whole bunch of ideas for like content, and I was just like, how crazy is that? Where you don't even have to think for yourself. You'd be like, I would just insert it. But the only thing is, you have to like put in like your information and like ID and stuff like that. And I was just like, I'm not doing that. So that way it could be data that's collecting on you, because you have to now verify with your cell phone in order to use the chatbot. What were you gonna say, X, on that?
Oh, I didn't. My fault. My mic was on.
Oh, okay.
Your captions be cracking me up. Talking about some Microsoft. But no, that is definitely a good point right there. And like we said, we're gonna definitely see it, right? And it's gonna be interesting to watch how AI continues to play. And we're gonna see these situations, I think, because again, I always tell people, once it hits that law and law changes, that's when everything starts changing. And so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. That was our last topic for today's Raw Talk. Okay, yeah. So that was another wrap for today's episode of Raw Talk. We talked about a lot of interesting things. So if you have anything that you want to add, make sure you add it here in the comments. And then, like I said, actually come to the metaverse. It's super easy. You can join on your phone, computer, or if you have a VR set that you want to put to use, we've got plenty to do here. Where we've got the backyard, we got jet skis in the front. And when you actually come to the space, you get to take home a free metaverse mug. And you can even support the Raw Talk by buying the physical, and then you'll get the digital twin for free anyways. But this has been a great episode. We look forward to seeing you all next Saturday, where we'll be back doing it again, talking about all the craziness around the world. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to say before we wrap it up?
Just in addition, to that last topic where it's like, man, this is a turning point in society where a lot of people are being humbled. But it's like, being humbled is good because you can either realize that there's something new occurring and you can create change, or you can be resistant to the change and then lose your place. Because it's like, a lot of your coders or your lawyers or your doctors had to sacrifice when we were all younger. Like, maybe they didn't do certain parties, they didn't do certain things so they can get this book work done, and probably sacrificed all their 20s for their career. And it's like, now that they're approaching 40, 50 or whatever age, it's like now the longevity or the stability they prayed for in that career is pretty much over with. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and they're going to be upset about it. That's why I wanted my wife to play the Yuval clip, because it's like, man, Yuval, who's like the brainchild of all this stuff that's going on, he always says, like, people are going to find out that they're useless out here as this stuff keep coming on. And he's just like, that's the reaction that the powers that be or whatever are waiting for, to see, like, when people realize that they're useless, what the heck they're going to do. Because a lot of people are built off of their career, and it's like, what's life without your career? We're about to find out.
You know it. And I know in those different Yuval videos, he said before, like, hey, somebody going to school right now to try to be a lawyer is better off trying to go to school to learn how to be a yoga teacher. Just sit here and help people's life actually be better. Because when you hear AI, they understand that's their purpose too. Like, oh, how can I help humans' lives be better? And so if humans thought that way too, hey, maybe life might get a little better for us all. But y'all know that's what we're going to be here watching and trying to figure out along the way. So this has been a great episode. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.